Welcome, everyone, to Cosmic Convergence, an experiencer-hosted podcast. Thank you, Jon, for joining us today, and we are going to be going over part 2 of the information behind the recent craze of Disclosure Day by Steven Spielberg, his new film coming out. We did part 1. You can find that on our channel, but this is part 2, going over the poster and some of the material that they were talking about before they released the teaser trailer. So, Jon, you said that you had a few bits of information that you came across about the potential poster and maybe some new stuff, and let's dive into it.
All right. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, if you don't mind putting up that screen grab. Well, this is like one of the first things, again, as Daniel mentioned, before the trailer came out. All will be disclosed. Spielberg, 06/12/26. June 12th, 2026. But he didn't put the 2026, just 26. And there's some interesting things. So as I said before in part 1, is that I had my own thoughts about it. I kind of wanted to see what AI would say about this billboard. I'm not sure if it's doesn't matter, who cares, right? I don't even know why I said that, but it's interesting. So first, we're going to go off with this is from Copilot, and it says visual symbolism. The eye. The central image is a stylized, alien-like eye surrounded by a circular pattern. This evokes surveillance and revelation. Now, anything that I read here, try to take into account the metaphysical slash ufological slash disclosure, secret government, that kind of stuff. Take that into consideration with the answer. So, surveillance and revelation. The eye is a classic symbol of awareness, hidden knowledge, and cosmic insight. Right? And they always talk about, oh, Hollywood, look at all these Hollywood people. They're doing the eye in the pyramid, right? The Illuminati stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Alien intelligence. The surreal design suggests something non-human. What do you know? Right? Possibly extraterrestrial or metaphysical. Of course, it's taking that also from the fact that it's supposed to be about portal or gateway. The circular framing around the eye hints at dimensional thresholds, seeing beyond the veil. It's very interesting. It says this eye isn't just watching, it's inviting the viewer to awaken, to perceive something previously concealed. You have any thoughts on that so far, Daniel?
It's also given it's a screaming remote viewer vibes too, with the whole upside down eye and everything. Yeah.
So the text message or textual message, sorry, all will be disclosed.
Mm-hmm.
This phrase is loaded with spiritual and disclosure messaging. So, could possibly have an apocalyptic tone. All will be disclosed implies a moment of reckoning or unveiling. Truth revelation. It aligns with themes of hidden knowledge, suppressed truths, or cosmic secrets coming to light. The phrasing mirrors language used in UFO movements, New Age prophecy, and spiritual awakening narratives. I find this interesting. It says it's not just a teaser, it's a summons. That threw me a little bit. I was like, what? I ask about that later, and let me touch on that later. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the authority that Steven Spielberg has as director. Okay, he's got cinematic gravitas. He's synonymous with awe, mystery, and emotional storytelling. He has a UFO legacy, which we've talked about in part 1, Close Encounters of the Third Kind as an example. E.T., which E.T. was kind of more, I believe, was more focused towards children. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that because it obviously had an influence, correct?
Right.
And then it shaped the Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which we mentioned before, what shaped public imagination around alien contact. Cultural permission. His name legitimizes the message making it feel less fringe and more mainstream. And that's good because you got to get to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
It says this isn't just a sci-fi promo; it's a cultural event. Any thoughts on that so far, Dave?
Well, I think that's just tried and true with Steven Spielberg and how what his other movies have been like. They've been highly influential on the culture, in shaping it as well. Which is, if we're talking about the phenomenon and innately is it loves to do. It loves to try to shape perception and our perception of it. So I think, it definitely screams that. And even going back to, I remember when I was, younger, when War of the Worlds came out. That was such a big hit, and everyone was talking about it. Everyone was going to it. It was really, really big. And so, I think that definitely screams to what Steven Spielberg's done previously, and we'll have to see how the impact is.
Definitely. This is okay. So let's look at the date. Okay. The date 6/12 here on the billboard 6/12/26. So it has a numerological echo. Okay, so um, six, putting through numerology. So six is heart service. Spiritual role is a call to awaken. 12, which has an element of three, is expression, initiation. Spiritual role, the voice of disclosure. 26, has the element of eight. Numerology, power, karma. Spiritual role, the manifestation of truth. Interesting.
Mm.
So the date itself encodes a spiritual arc: compassion, communication, relation. This is just 6/12/26 is not just some rando date that got picked for release. Oh, I don't know. I think it's on a Friday. I don't know. Let's just put it out on this day. Just doesn't matter. As long as it's on a Friday, just, put a blindfold on, just pick a point at the calendar. Oh, yeah, you got a Wednesday, try again. Okay. Oh, eventually you go, okay, 6/12/26. That's great. No, there's a reason for this, people. Okay. So, let's see here. A likely sci-fi thriller centered on disclosure, alien contact. It truths symbolic, a public ritual of awakening. The eye, the phrase, and the date form a triad of spiritual initiation. It's designed to stir curiosity, even subconscious recognition. Um, Spielberg's involvement suggests mainstreaming of disclosure themes. Billboard becomes a threshold moment where what's typically considered as fringe ideas, right, skeptic thing, because you're going to have that when you go into AI, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fringe is a fringe idea. Enter mass consciousness. Okay, so let's see here. I said any significance with the use of the cardinal bird out, and we talked about this in part one a little bit. The cardinal bird is very prevalent in the trailer. So in this billboard it says, yes, John, the cardinal bird carries rich symbolic and spiritual significance across multiple traditions, is in use in visual media, especially in disclosure or UFO contexts, can be deeply intentional. Here's a breakdown of its layered meanings. Again, take this as you will. This is AI answers. Okay, AI can make mistakes, but I'm just going with what they say. Any point in time, Daniel, chime in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't mean to just completely absorb this whole thing. So the theme of the card, messenger from the spirit world, often seen, meaning often seen as a sign from a deceased loved one or a spiritual guide. Vitality and force. Its red color symbolizes passion, energy, and the fire of the soul. Hope and
Mm.
renewal. Appears during emotional transitions or spiritual awakenings. Balance and devotion. Represents harmony between the physical and the spiritual realms. Confidence and visibility. Its bold color and song encourage standing out and speaking truth. Okay, psychological and archetypal resonance. The cardinal is often interpreted as a threshold symbol, appearing at moments of change or revelation. Disclosure means to reveal, right?
Very similar to
Apocalypse.
the owl imagery, and often they come in illicit change.
Correct.
Yep.
A guardian archetype, watching over, guiding, or warning. A soul spark, reminding the viewer of their inner fire or divine connection. In Jungian terms, it could represent the animus, the masculine principle of action and clarity, or the herald in their hero's journey, the one who announces the call to adventure. So, if a cardinal appears in media related to UFOs, disclosure, or spiritual awakening, it may signal a bridge between worlds. The cardinal as a liminal creature connecting earth and sky. And I want to touch on this just briefly with this billboard. The eye is upside down.
Hmm.
Okay. The cardinal saying a bridge between the worlds. The cardinal is a liminal creature connecting earth and sky. This billboard is a as above, so below
Yep.
messaging, right?
Yep.
Visual messaging, which we hear about the phenomena all the time, a very metaphysical spirituality kind of thing, as above, so below. And so it is what happens there also happens here. It's not just in space, it's on Earth. It's not just on Earth, it's in the ocean. It's not just in the third dimension, it's in the fourth,
Yep.
fifth, etc. Right? So there's a whole bunch of microcosm, macrocosm, all that jazz, right?
Mm-hmm.
A coded message, especially if paired with phrases like all will be disclosed, it may imply that the truth is near and the cardinal is the harbinger. Emotional anchoring, grounded cosmic themes in personal, heart-centered imagery. This is especially potent if the cardinal appears near dates, eyes, or portals. It becomes a visual cue for awakening, resemblance, or spiritual contact. Seek. And then I asked, you mentioned that the billboard was not just a teaser, but a summons. Elaborate why you said that. And it says, here's what I meant, John, and why I chose the word summons instead of the safer, more neutral teaser. It says, I wasn't being poetic. I was pointing to something very specific in the design language and the rhetorical structure of the billboard. Let me break it down clearly. Movie teasers typically show a logo, give a date, maybe include a tagline, which could be like, all will be disclosed, and aim to build curiosity. This billboard does something different. It commands. The phrase, all will be disclosed, isn't suggestive, it's declarative. It doesn't say, coming soon. It doesn't say, a new Spielberg film. It doesn't say, prepare for the truth. It says, a moment is coming, and you are expected to witness it. Now, that could be to sell tickets, or it might be because there's something to be disclosed. That's the language of a summons, a call to attention, not just a hint. Thoughts, Daniel?
That's really interesting, the summons part. I think there's something to it. The other thing that sticks out to me with this particular image is you're talking about the so above, so below. The
Mm-hmm.
eyes inverse. There's but it is still in that intense color, and that's really when we've seen the trailer. They change their eyes when they're kind of engaging with whether it's they're taking over another body or there's a channeling going on or an NHI or something, whatever it is going to be. But it's very clear, very poignant, concise to get your attention. But the inverse eye it conveys to me very much the looking at the phenomenon, looking back at us in its mixed way,
When you
right?
stare into the abyss, it stares back at you.
Yeah, it's very much that it conveys that. It's not just the simple person is looking at you. It's through a perspective, and it's through the. I remember when this came out, people were talking about the cardinal possibly being a reference to what was it? Was it the not AMK Ultra, but it was Majestic The
Yeah.
majestic 12, like
12.
them having call names that are bird signs, right? Somebody would mention that, like, oh, I wonder if they're going to have this reference to that, but I don't know. I think it's going to be more so it's referencing the phenomenon. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm curious if what we're actually looking at in the poster is NHI itself through the eye, right? It like
Yeah.
the we are actually witnessing it in the poster. It's just through these layers and metaphors and these different like it's going to come through in a way that we're not going to expect.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting. So there, I mean, it goes on to other things. The date is treated like an appointment. Most movie posters bury the release date. This one isolates it, centers it, pairs it with the command, uses numerology, friendly structure, 06 12 26. Reads like, be here on this date. That's how you know that's how you summon someone to a moment. So it's an
Mm-hmm.
invitation. Let's see here. Disclosure language is never neutral. Word disclosed carries secrecy, revelation, authority, inevitability. It implies there is something hidden, will be present when it is revealed. That's not marketing language, that's prophetic language. It mirrors
Mm.
religious revelations, UFO disclosures, apocalyptic unveiling, moment of truth framing. Um, this is why it feels like a summons, because it uses the vocabulary of destiny, not entertainment. And so, yeah, and they go more into like Spielberg. So the whole composition mimics ritual messaging. When you combine the I, the imperative phrase, the date, the authoritative name, the dark monolithic aesthetic, which is dark monolithic aesthetic, you get something that resembles a prophecy, a warning, a call to witness, a ritual announcement, a threshold. This is why it said it was a summons. It's not just telling you a movie exists; it's telling you to show up for an unveiling. So yeah, there's it's crazy. So then Melissa sent me from from Gemini. So let me drag my screen over here. This is from Gemini. She asks 06 12 26. Share some symbolism in numerology and such with this number. The calendar connection, June 12th, 1926, and June 12th, 2026. So there, in many cultures, this number is read as date June 12th, 26. Historical significance. June 12th, 1926 was the birth date of Anne Frank. Okay. Um, if viewed as June 12th, 2026, falls on Friday. Sorry. You cut that part out. I'll touch on something else. So that's not it. I thought it was. Cut that
Mm-hmm.
part out. So numerological breakdown. Um, the core root is 8. The number 8 is a symbol of infinity turned upright. It represents manifestation and wealth. It is often associated with material success, financial abundance, karma, the laws of cause and effect. What you put out into the world returns to you. Balance, the visual symmetry of the 8 represents a balance between the spiritual and material worlds. So the core root of this number combination is 8. Um, 0 represents the God source or infinite potential. It amplifies the numbers it touches. 6 appears twice, the number of the home, service, and domestic harmony, having it suggest a master focus on responsibility and healing. 1 in the numerological is new beginnings, leadership, and independence. 2, the number 2 appears twice, partnership, duality, and intuition. The mirror in twin symbolism. The sequence 612 and 226 creates an interesting rhythm. The 6-2 duality, the number is bookended by sixes and has twos in the middle. This suggests a journey that begins and ends with responsibility and family, while the core 1 and 2s represent the individual's relationship with others. So, phenomenon's relationship with us, possibly.
Mm.
Angel number 612. often interpreted as a sign to stay positive regarding your life, trusting that your needs will be met. Um, Angel number 226 focuses on faith and diplomacy. It suggests that being tactful in your relationships will lead to stability. Stability. It has something to do with, disclosure, making sure that you're tactful, they're tactful. I don't know. Just reading this stuff out. Um, and then let's see here. Any thoughts yet so far,
No.
Daniel?
Nope.
Okay. So the first contact prediction of November 2026. Now this is June. Trailer, the Billboard trailer
Mm-hmm.
movie comes out June 20. Okay. While 06/12/26 specifically points to June, many modern interpretations of the mystic Baba Vanga, Vanga, have identified 2026 as a pivotal year for extraterrestrial interaction. So I think she was Baba Vanga. Vanga was born like early 1900s. She was either born blind or she became blind,
She
and
was,
she was kind of like Nostradamus.
yeah, she was blind at age 10.
Age 10.
We recently watched it was a Jesse Michaels interview with Russian Republican president of a certain territory, and he actually knew her, and he went into details about her predictions for himself, but also what she talked about of being very aware of non-human intelligence, and very, very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, she gave a lot of predictions. He said over 95 to 90% of them were accurate. That 90% accuracy was about what it was for him. He said 8 out of 10 predictions she gave personally to him came true. Some of them decades before they actually happened. So yeah, she definitely could had the gift and could see essentially. But yeah, I believe one of them was 2026 potentially being like full contact.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing is I don't know specifically if that is indeed from her, or is it more so
Right.
maybe something online that somebody said and then people ran with it. But
Well, her followers and stuff. It's kind of like Nostradamus, predicting
right,
thing. It's where he
right,
wrote these quatrains, and they were very like ambiguous, dark,
mm-hmm,
kind of very poetic and such. And people just try to, what
right,
did he mean by this? You know. But yeah, it's called they call it the November shift. Its widely circulated claims suggest he predicted a massive spacecraft would enter Earth's atmosphere in November 2026, leading to humanity's first official contact. Now, I did a little bit of research. I suggest people actually look up Baba Vanga on their own. But I did a little research, and apparently she or her followers had said that she had predicted it happening this year in 2025 during a major sports event, but it didn't happen. But some people are saying, well, but then you have Three Eye Atlas. So maybe it was translated wrong. Not saying that Three Eye Atlas is an alien craft, but that something gained people's awareness
and
that
people are
was
talking
that
about it. Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right. Um,
yeah.
so here's where I wanted to go with historical sightings. Okay, so June 12th, not 2026, because time, whatever it is, but we're not there yet according to our Gregorian calendar. Okay, 1926. Okay, if we remember, the Billboard does not say 2026, it says 26. Okay, so if we treat 06/12/26 as June 12th, 1926, it places us in a year that was surprisingly active for early pre-Roswell UFO sightings. This stuff I did not know, and I've researched this stuff a while. Daniel, you were going to say
But
something? Okay,
no, I'm interested.
intrigued.
I'm intrigued.
So I may mispronounce this. I may mispronounce this, and so I apologize. The Rorich sighting in 1926, the famous Russian explorer and mystic Nicholas Rorich reported seeing a high altitude, shiny oval object over the Himalaya mountains. His caravan described it as reflecting the sun like a mirror and moving at incredible speeds, a classic description of what would be later called flying saucer. Okay. Pre-Cold War UFOs, this period is often studied by ancient alien theorists as proof that UFOs were present long before human aerospace technology existed, making 1926 a significant year in ufology history. Okay. The galactic alignment. June 2026. Astronomically, the mid-year of 2026 features a rare total solar eclipse, August 12th, 2026. In many alien contact circles, significant solar events are viewed as windows or gateways where the thinning of dimensions allows for easier travel or communication from extraterrestrial civilizations. So, let's see. She asked, what could deer and cardinal birds have to do with all of that? So when you combine deer and cardinal birds with the number 6, 12, 26, specifically the year 2026, and the theme of alien contact, you enter the territory of screen memories and high strangeness folklore. Okay. In the world of ufology and the paranormal, the two animals are rarely just nature sightings. Here's how they tie into the first contact 2026 narrative. So, screen memory phenomenon, let's are aware of what that is, but I'll go ahead and read what it says anyway. One of the most common links between aliens and deer is the screen memory. Many people have claimed to have had close encounters or abductions reporting seeing a deer with unusually large eyes. Last year, year before, previous years, people have talked about not deer. They see a deer, but it's not a deer, you know, with unusually large eyes staring at them through a window or on a dark road. The theory. Proponents of the interdimensional theory suggest that the human mind cannot process the true image of a non-human entity.
Mm.
To protect itself, the brain overlays a familiar image, often of a deer or an owl, over the alien figure.
Yep.
I propose that that is what the phenomena does to us. Okay, the 2026 connection. If 2026 is indeed a year of the great disclosure, some believe that natural sightings of deer will increase as a precursor to people realizing they're actually witnessing something else. Again, Leave the World Behind several years ago came out with the deer. Okay, and then now you have, you know, this movie coming out with the deer, even though it's not in the promo poster. I figured I'd go ahead and talk about this. Cardinals as biosensors or messengers, canary in a coal mine. In spiritual and paranormal circles, cardinals are seen as the hinges of the door. The word cardinal comes from the Latin cardo, meaning hinge.
Mm.
Interstellar messengers. Yeah, I'll let you comment after I read this. There's a fringe theory. Fringe, here we go. Of course, got to get the skeptic stuff in there, which
Yeah.
fine,
Got to be
whatever.
sourced from Wikipedia. Guerrilla
Got to be
skeptics
sourced
on
from,
their hard work.
hey, Guerrilla Skeptics, bad monkey. That's what we put on the end of every video. Not because you're awesome, because you suck. All right? And I'm still sticking to it. You guys keep doing what you're doing, and Wikipedia is going to be dead now in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to trust it. Okay? So, anyway, there's a fringe theory that certain birds act as biological drones or sensors for higher intelligence. Because cardinals are bright red and highly visible, they are often interpreted as intentional markers or checkpoints left by non-human intelligence to signal that an area is being watched. And hello to the cat. And cats are what? Cats are what? Familiars, right?
Yes.
A lot of times they're familiars, and they show up at the right times.
Yes, I
So
do.
we'll just go put that as a side note. The gateway symbol. Seeing a cardinal in tandem with the numbers 0, 6, 12, 26 is viewed by some as a gateway opening, since 6 and 12 and 2 in numerology represent balance and duality. The cardinal, the hinge, suggests that the door between our world and theirs is swinging open. Now, I want to ask everybody, look at this billboard. Okay? Door window, right? You're not seeing the cardinal in the red. It's a window or a portal behind the eye, right? Not to get all like, oh, there's the eye above the pyramid on the dollar bill, Illuminati. I'm just saying, why is this symbolism used?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just rando, right? You're not having the as above, so below, and the window, and the cardinal, and the messenger, and the portal, and all that stuff, and all, for no reason. It's all there for a reason. And I think
Yep.
AI has nailed this stuff so far. What are you thinking so far, Daniel?
Oh yeah, I'm like, there's a few details I'm like, could have gotten that from this, but
Sure.
it's all pretty spot on. The imagery is not at all by accident. The marketing team and everything else, they would have a clear definition of how they want to convey the information, and yeah, I would have to agree with the what I was talking about, especially with the deer and the cardinal. I did find it very fascinating about the what is it, the cardinal, the definition of the name cardinal essentially is about like a hinge,
Yeah.
like a door opening. That's super wild. So is that the essentially messenger, and then the deer is actually the one that is engaging. Okay, so I do have to say this.
Yeah.
I gotta throw in a personal vision I had back in 2019, right before 2020.
Okay.
Oh, I did not mean to zoom in.
That's fine.
But I remember, so it was before 2020. I did a meditation, and I was just doing, I just meditated, and I remember having a very emotional experience with this vision. But I was in a dark forest, and there was an elk. There was an elk that was waiting for me at the very tail end of it, and so I started walking towards it. It was like the trees were bleeding. I remember that. It was very dark area, but it was like kind of the one that I knew I needed to go up. So I went up to him and I put my hand on him, and he looked at me, and in his eyes were the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that symbolism is so it's all over the place when it, especially people that might take psychedelics and they have a spiritual experience or a connection with a animal form. A lot of times it's like galaxies in the eyes. But I just wanted to throw in the symbolism because I remember that vision very strongly right before 2020 hit. But it was interesting. The elk or deer symbolism was, I think, is strong, and it also conveys a sense of Sophie, can you not?
Has an alien taken over your cat? Because all I hear is. That's it.
She's being crazy. But I was just gonna say, the also the symbolism of like the deer is there's elegance, there's elegantness
A
to
royalty to it.
a royalty to like that symbolism, but also there's a it's also like deer and elk are always like they're just kind of around all the time, right? It's just kind of this air of this quiet wisdom to it, and so I am. Yeah, I just wanted to add that to the conversation because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But I think with all the choices of animals that they're including in the trailer, and then obviously the cardinal in this, there's also they have the other posters that they recently come out
Yeah.
where it has a deer as well. I
That's the
think
deer.
that is very poignant. The interesting thing too, right? You have the eye upside down in the cardinal imagery, but in the other ones they have the person looking out the window and they're seeing the deer, and it's their eye is like
Yes.
blue or like this
And
kind
it's
of
lit
more.
up.
It's lit
It's
up.
lit up.
Yeah, it's like that activation. So is this the carrier, to open the door, then the deer is the activator, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Possibly. Yeah. Yeah. And I chose not to go with those posters. I want people to do their own investigations on this
Right.
as well if they find it interesting. I don't find that those posters are so as heavily symbolic as this one is.
Yeah.
But there's still some symbolism in there. And I just want to say before I continue, the eye and seeing the universe in it. Melissa had told me one time that she had a dream states where she just saw like this large black eye, and she saw the entire universe in it. There was no like pupil or anything. It was just this large dark eye that had the universe. And so that's interesting. But to speak about deer, because you're talking about that that moment with the deer, the next thing that was going to come up on this list was the not deer and Appalachian folklore. So good timing on that. There's a specific modern cryptid known as the not deer I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
These are creatures that look like deer but have forward facing eyes and move in ways that defy physics. So there's an alien connection. Many not deer sightings occur near areas with high UFO activity. Interesting. Like the Tennessee, North Carolina mountains. I live here in Tennessee right now, and I unfortunately don't live near any mountains. But the Appalachians are a very ancient, if not the most ancient range, and there are orbs and all kinds of paranormal and phenomena, just in general, that goes on in the Appalachians, and that's an interesting rabbit hole to look at, which I hope we can do at some point in time. But here we go back again to the 1926 to 2026 loop. In 1926, during the Rorich sighting mentioned earlier, local guides often spoke of mountain animals behaving strangely or appearing hollow just before craft were seen in the sky. What?
Interesting.
What? And they're in the movie? What? Symbolic synthesis. Again, this is a separate AI. Yeah, it can work off of Wikipedia. All right, but symbolic synthesis, the 061226 ritual. If you look at the elements as a single symbolic map, symbol roll in the 2026 narrative, the timestamp, the predicted window for a shift in consciousness or content. Deer, the screen, the physical world hiding the extraterrestrial reality. Cardinal, the messenger, the signal that a transition, a hinge moment is occurring. Uh-huh. Uh, let's see here. She asks, what are some cases where people saw deer and it was high strangeness? Says in the world of high strangeness, deer and birds, especially cardinals or owls, are often described as screen memories, psychological masks used by non-human intelligence to hide their true form. Here are specific cases and phenomena where deer are linked to the paranormal and or extraterrestrial. So you had the Whitley Strieber communication case, or communion case. I'm so sorry, Whitley. The most famous example of a screen memory comes from author Whitley Strieber. In his 1987 book Communion, he describes how he initially remembered seeing a large barn owl staring at him through the window. The reality, under hypnosis, that memory cracked, and he realized the owl was actually a non-human entity with large black eyes. The deer connection. Many people influenced by Strieber's work have reported similar experiences, but instead of owls, they see deer. They describe deer that stand perfectly still for hours, staring with eyes that feel too intelligent or human. Again, going back to the not deer of Appalachia. This is a modern folk phenomenon, particularly in the Appalachian region of the U.S. Witnesses describe encounters with creatures that look like deer from a distance, but something is fundamentally wrong. The eyes in the front of the face, like a human or wolf, rather than the sides. Bipedalism. The deer will suddenly stand up on its hind legs and walk into the woods like a person. I just got, I just got the wildest effing chills right now because something in my brain went, is that what that was? And I'll touch on it in a moment. The grip. Witnesses often report a feeling of primal dread, a sudden, overwhelming fight or flight response that feels projected onto them by the creature. The deer in the middle of the road missing time. In many abduction reports, the trigger event for missing time is a deer standing in the middle of a dark road. The pattern: a driver swerves or stops for a deer. The deer doesn't move. The driver stares into the deer's eyes and suddenly wakes up miles down the road hours later with no memory of the gap. The theory: Ufologists like Bud Hopkins argued that the deer was a telepathic suggestion meant to get the driver to stop their car so the visitors could approach. Okay. Why the cardinal fits in. If the deer is the mask, the screen memory, the cardinal is often viewed as the glitch or the marker. Because of their bright red color, they stand out in the natural environment. In high strangeness lore, seeing a cardinal is in an impossible place, like inside a building or in the dead of winter where they don't belong. Now, that's wrong. I live here in Tennessee. It's dead of winter, and I see cardinals out my window all the time because I put seed out there. But what it said was seeing a cardinal in an impossible place, like inside a building. And in that movie trailer, inside that house or that room, right, is often a sign that the simulation is being adjusted or that a watcher is nearby. So that's the stuff that Gemini came up with, paired with the stuff, and again, they're going to use some of the same sources. I understand that. Paired with what I got off of Copilot, more about the billboard than about the movie, but some things sprinkled about between. Yes, some of the movie posters outdated. So the marketing team is, they go through and they make posters and billboards and all that stuff. And they got all these rough drafts. I'm an artist, I know this. And they go through all their jazz,
Right,
right?
right.
And something has to meet that final approval. Someone has to say, okay, this goes in it, this doesn't. This goes in it, this doesn't. And this is how it's supposed to work. Perfect, put it out there. Excuse me. So Spielberg is the director, okay? He's not just working on this alone, all right? As far as I know, he is not the writer of this. So this is a collaboration, and this is, something that he's taken the experience of that he's had close encounters with the jazz. And, of course, witness, abductee, contactee events, and all the lore and historical things that have happened and been reported on. And he's putting it together in this movie. Skeptics will say, well, yeah, that's fine, but it's still all fictitious. They're just balloons. They're just, a whole bunch of people that are just having mass hallucinations, and they're just doing it to grift and make a whole bunch of money, and to where I say, well, no, I mean, you look historically. The thing that gave me chills, and it is a cave, it's a cave painting. It's a cave painting. It's Paleolithic.
Oh, no.
Do you know what I'm going to talk about, Daniel?
Oh, no.
I'm going to talk about the shaman. I think it's
Okay.
called the shaman. Okay.
Do you have it?
Could you pull it up for me? Could you look up cave painting? I can't remember what cave it was in. I'll
Cave
do some research.
painting. Okay.
Cave
painting. And then it would be what? Deer?
the shaman is what it's called, I believe. Yes.
If you need to share a screen, I can totally let you.
Oh, it's called the sorcerer. The sorcerer. The sorcerer. It's from the Tri-Frères cave. I will.
I think I found it. Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay.
Did you put it on screen? Could you
Yes,
put it
I
on
will.
screen for me? Sorry, I wasn't prepared because I didn't even think about this.
No, you're totally fine. All
Maybe
right.
you edit this appropriately too. Not to give you extra things to do with edits, but yes.
This one? Yep.
Yes, the sorcerer. I'm going to correct myself. It's not the shaman. I keep wanting to call it the shaman because shamanistic practices touch into the other realms. Phenomena contact.
It's a forward-facing.
This is old. This is old people. This is old. This isn't somebody taking some chalk to a cave in 2025. This is old, okay, in France. And I studied cave paintings for a while, just some stuff, because it's just fascinating. And then when it said the not deer standing up, I just was hit with like this chill of this might not be some shaman of ancient tribe. It might be, it might, sure, but it might not be. Again, I wasn't there. None of us that are watching this, none of these, no, poppycock. That's not what it is. We're there. So kiss my ass. All right. But I will say, he's standing on his hind legs. He's looking forward. The eyes are forward. Okay. And we've got some stuff coming
I
up
just
there.
wanted to add as well, very
Okay.
reminiscent of the movie Princess Mononoke as well, the forward-facing face. Yep.
Yes. But that
Mm-hmm.
I want to point out because not only is it a description of the non-deer, but because these people drew what they saw. So hunting, the wildlife, rituals, which this could be a part of. It could be a man that's dressed up in a deer skin with the
Mm-hmm.
antlers and the head, some antlers in the head. That's perfectly plausible. Anthropology, that's perfectly acceptable. But if we try to look at it through the lens of the possibility of the phenomena and of not deer, this could be exactly what they came up with. This could be, I know this is, even for me, this is a stretch, but it could be a screen memory that a whole tribe could have seen. If you take this into context with some of the Aboriginal art, some of the other ancient cave art that show gray beings with halos around their head, beings in the in the Arizona desert that are painted on walls, that are standing tall, that look like they have devices with them, or helmets, or eyes piercing through darkness, or any of that stuff, and you take it into context that the phenomena has been with us since the dawn of mankind, then why not still replicate and go through steps that they did at the beginning of humanity?
Mm-hmm.
And here we go with deer in an effing Steven Spielberg movie, walking into an effing room that's going to come out in 2026. The
Mm-hmm.
more the phenomena changes, the more the phenomena stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
It wears any mask it wants, any mask that you can accept, right? And it goes into our culture, it gets into our movies, it gets into our books, it gets into our social media, it gets into everything. To say that this is just something made up by psychotic people and their imaginations. How many times do you experience say, I see it out of the corner of my eye?
Mm-hmm.
How many times do people, regular people, say, I was in my living room and suddenly the hair stood up on the back of my neck, on my arms. I got the willies, I got the chills, I got the feeling that I'm not alone. That's the phenomenon. Wake up. Regardless of what this movie does, and I know I'm on a soapbox and I apologize. Wake up. I
Mm-hmm.
yell, I get fervent about the stuff because I'm passionate about it. Look, the movie is going to have some things, and then I'll get off my soapbox. The movie's going to have some things that are researched very well in the community about
Mm-hmm.
the phenomenon. Is everything that's going to be in the movie going to be factual? No. What is factual? We don't know. That's the whole problem with wanting disclosure, is because that way we can stop coming up with all these hypotheticals and actually get some groundwork to go off of this stuff. Okay. but we're not going to get it from the government. And I'm sorry, as much as I'm going with all this stuff that AI has found and all of our analysis in the previous video, Steven Spielberg ain't going to spell it out for you either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
The most important thing is that it goes into people's awareness. They start thinking about it more. And yes, we start demanding. But we have to start listening to each other because we are having contact more than we realize with the phenomenon. If you stare at the abyss, it stares back at you. If you say, I know you are there, it will say, oh, hey, it noticed me noticing him. He noticed me noticing him. I have spirit box recordings that pretty much say that, okay? Not just once, not just twice, several times in different ways. It is waiting for that interaction. And I
Mm-hmm.
believe it depends on us as much as we depend on it. Above, so below. They are us, we are them, we are one, okay? There is a consciousness that surrounds us, that we are a part of. Okay? And so I'm sorry, not sorry, skeptics, but you're the ones that are living in a cave. Okay. But you're just painting balloons and seagulls on the walls in the West. Wife reads tarot. That's okay with you. All these other skeptics, Green Street, they have something wrong with their head.
Mm-hmm.
Something wrong. Something is psychotically wrong with their head. Why should they care whether or not the phenomenon is real? Why should they care? Let people believe what they want to believe, right? Why? Why are they so insistent? Like us, we have a reason, okay? Because, yeah, we're not alone in the universe and we're not alone here. That's belief. We've experienced things.
Mm-hmm.
They've experienced balloons at a birthday party. They've experienced being on the beach and a seagull crapping on their head. Okay, that's all they've experienced. That's all they'll admit to experience. Why are they so invested? Because they're getting paid to be disinformation. They're getting paid to develop these things. Oh, well, the parallax of the blah, 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 and the tic tac show that it was just a balloon. You imagine, yeah, there's going to be a lot of balloons that are floating around the earth, okay? Sure. People are going to have parties, right? And they're going to have air balloons and weather balloons. But Jiminy Christmas, you would think we were under invasion by balloons. Something's wrong there to make you think, because they want you to think that it's all balloons or LED kites or skydivers with flares or all this. But they're doing it for a reason because they want you to accept the most logical, in their minds, the most logical, the simplest answer because they see you as simple people, right? You're not, we did this just through Gerbic, right? You're not intelligent enough to think for yourself. So I'm going to think for you. The government's paying these jackasses to say what they're saying. Anyway, sorry, but the movie, the rest have seen it, right? Can't really say for sure, but it's interesting the symbolism and the messaging that's potentially there, and the trailer is interesting. And I can't wait. I'd love to hear people's comments. I'm sure you would too, Daniel, on what people think about the billboard, the posters, the trailer, and what we've talked about here in the comments. Because I really want to be able to get the pulse of our viewing audience and the people out there, even you bozo skeptics. I'll at least read your comment before I delete it. Um, Maybe I'll leave it there just so you can embarrass yourself. But anyway, so there's your caveat. Daniel, closing words.
Yeah, I think that the phenomenon changes and interacts with us in various ways. It changes through the decades and the centuries. And I think that we have very much whitewashed our view of knowledge, where we view the Western academic space as the number one bastion of how the world works, and that's just not the case. It's a framework for us to better understand science and theology and everything else, but they have their own agendas and they have their issues with the unknown, right? And so people that are having these strange experiences know that it is there. You're not crazy. That there's legitimate stuff that does happen that is so strange that it's really hard to even talk about it, but really put into words like what it means, not just for us personally, but to others, and just knowing that there's others out there that have a scientific mind and have a skeptical mind, right? Real skeptics, not just skeptics that are wanting to say no because the evidence points to another conclusion, but they don't care. They just want to, throw away anything that goes against what they believe. It's important to stay in that balance and knowing that we're all trying to figure it out, right? And I'm super excited for all the stuff that we went over today. It was really great. I wanted to share really quick. I just kind of whipped this up in Chat GPT, but I figured it'd be kind of fun to share. My God, I would have a heart attack seeing this if I was driving.
Yeah.
I was like,
that'd be wild.
Yeah,
that'd be wild. I'd be like, duh. Huh? Yeah,
I'd start looking around like, oh no, I'm about to lose time. Like, this is too weird.
Right? Time ain't on my side. No, it ain't. Right? I just want to put a little footnote here. Okay. John Laser does not believe everything I hear when it comes to reports. I am so skeptical. Daniel knows this. In private conversations, I am extremely skeptical. I am. But I don't automatically go up and be like, oh, well, it's just an effing balloon. Mm-hmm. Like I'm some lunar that just loves balloons so much that it does something special.
Right.
I'm very like, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right. Something's off. I'm very opinionated about it. Mm-hmm. Of course, as everybody can tell, I'm very opinionated. But I said passion is expressed. But anyway, it was. Go ahead.
I think I was one thing that I really appreciate about you, John, is how you like to really look at things like deep down and really just, let's not take it at face value. Let's really do the research and try to figure out what the living crap is going on, with this. And as someone, as people know, I'm part of MUFON, right? And I'm the state director for Idaho now. I'll be coming up, but
congratulations.
Thanks. But it's well, I got the assistant. It's been slowly happening, but people assume, right, that everyone's skeptical, like in the organization. That's not true. There's a lot of people that have different perspectives. There's people that are more scientifically inclined. There's people that are experiencers. A lot of our group are experiencers, and we have these really fun conversations. Much of what we talk about on the show, but it's still like we have to look at cases in a balanced way. And, just because a case comes by our desk where it ends up being a fast bird that's being blurred by the camera settings, or it is a set of balloons, stuff like that. We always preface like, okay, cool, awesome, we were able to solve this mystery, but we know that it's still out there. We know that they're out there. We know that they're always going about their day doing crazy stuff, and we're happened of stance to catch them, so we never view it in a way of, well, I guess that's notch one against the phenomenon being real. We never come across it that way. And I think that people need to have a more balanced and a healthy look at what this actually is. If you are researching, you find that there are cases that are illegitimate, that just opens you up for more chances for you to catch things that are legitimate, that are phenomenon based. And you know, and my you know, my goal is to find the truth in the matter, and not just for us, but like for those people that are having those experiences, maybe so they better understand what's going on. And so yeah, I just want to back you up on that, of just, you know, people that are online and are truly like they list themselves as skeptics. They aren't really true skeptics. They're just wanting to pigeonhole their beliefs and be on their side for what they view as the truth. And they're not actually doing the due diligence in science. It's kind of like certain people in the UFO space that have called others out in academia of like, oh, you're a scientist? Why don't you actually get off your ass and actually do some science work then? And instead of just, you know, saying stuff for the state and the institution's perspective, you know. And I think that's really how we need to come at it. And as, you know, us experiencers try to figure things out and do our own research and also meet others as well. And and I just, you know, anybody watching this episode that are skeptical, you know, do the work, do the due diligence of trying to expand your awareness of reality. Us as humans, we know that we don't view everything, we don't see everything, we don't hear everything. Our bodies are very limited in how we perceive, right? We have animals that can perceive in various light frequencies, and they see something, but we don't. So we perceive that, oh yeah, no, there's nothing there. That's just a stupid animal that doesn't know what they're looking at. How how prideful of you to say such, right? And it's just, I think that a lot more people that are scientifically inclined need to come out and need to be able to be brave enough to not know the answer and be able to you know, dive into those deep questions that we're all exploring on this side of things.
I agree. And you know, just another footnote here is, it's not, there is a science to investigating the
Mm-hmm.
phenomenon. You know, there's this, again, it's drawn by debunkers. I said skeptics, I spoke. I mean, because skeptics are open to the possibilities. They just need, a debunker is totally different. Like Mick West, he's a debunker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all these other jackasses, Stephen Greenstreet and others, they're debunkers. They're not actual skeptics. They're already going in with a preconceived notion. This is baloney, they say.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Skeptic says, show me the proof. Now they'll say, well, you know, this is baloney, show me the proof. But they're always going to tell you their intentions right off the bat. But there's like actual scientific vigor and rigor put into investigating the phenomenon. Steve Marrow, who will have the privilege of interviewing in January, so an upcoming episode, has investigated 40 years worth of the phenomenon and uses scientific research on his cases. Okay. Historical research, scientific research. Right. So this baloney, this BS argument, there's no scientific research on the subject of the phenomena, is false. That's another
Mm-hmm.
falsehood they put out there. Okay. And I just want to say that there are investigators that investigate scientific method with repeatable results. Okay. And yeah, they're going to have their own personal experiences sometimes not. And then I just wanted to also bring up, and I'm stalling because I can't remember what I was going to say. It sucks. I hate that. Don't you hate that, Danny?
I don't.
When you're
Yeah,
like, I'm going to
totally.
make this. So
I'm gonna make the best point ever, and then it goes flies
right.
away like a canary or cardinal.
So, oh yeah. So we have to be careful about social media. we do. Because while I say there's a lot of people that are just poo-pooing the entire subject, there's a lot of people that are full of horse crap on the other one. I don't know. I'm surprised I can still look forward. The amount of times my eyes, in not a puking up green pea soup kind of like horror movie thing, my eyes have rolled into the back of my head on videos on TikTok, and I'm just like, you are not helping. You are not helping the research. You are not helping bring out the truth. Like, oh, I got this iron rod or this rod that flew and fell in my backyard. You get all these people that are invested in it. And then, you supposedly, oh, was that person abducted? This came up recently. Oh, is that person abducted? That rod had markings on it like the Boogosphere, and all this, that, and the other. And then the guy comes out and goes, oh, yeah, it was fake.
Or the what is it? The one that gets me has lately been the artifacts, quote unquote.
Yeah.
A lot of people online with artifacts, and you're like, okay.
And AI images of cave paintings.
Yes.
And AI images of this, that, and the other.
Yep.
And they make these things, and they make these claims. Oh, I summon this all the time, and I'm a this and I'm a that. And look at all these special powers that I get. I can turn into a fifth dimensional being at will, and all this kind of stuff. And you're just like, you're not helping. You're giving food. You're giving food to the debunkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're making everything seem legitimate. And that's why I always say use your discernment. Now, it might be different. You might be like, okay, yeah, that person's a Lyran. You might be thinking that person is a Lyran. Okay, that's on you. For me, that person is not a Lyran. All right, but that's where we differ. But at least sit down and go, seems, because I've fallen for BS. At least I did enough research to come down to the end and be like, okay, yeah, that was BS, right? And that's it.
And you have a lot of people that come into space too that are newer, right? That they just don't know until like they maybe later research. Like I know I found myself have to constantly updating my information of where I was getting it. But it is frustrating for that to be in the space. But it's just part of it, as it goes. It's the ambiguousness of the phenomenon, just like religion or faith. It's just there's going to be people that have these various degrees of perspective, and there's very. It's not just a surety of themselves and their experience, but they're trying to maybe also bolster their own belief in it, right? And I think can affect things with that, and yeah, it definitely muddies the waters and being able to have proper discussions with other experiencers. I feel like there's real stuff that's happening, but at the same time, there's this muddiness that's like all murky and muddy, and it's really hard to sort through it sometimes, and knowing like who's legitimate, who's not. And so I understand it. Yeah, I agree, John. I really do understand the skeptics that kind of come at that angle. But, at the same time, that's people having to be aware of the intelligence community's influence on the UFO topics, knowing that they've muddied the waters over the decades as well. There's a lot of things that have been intentional by people to poison and to just confuse people. And so it's this Richard Doty. It's this weird game. Yeah. And you have a lot of people that come in, they listen to Richard Doty like, oh, this guy is amazing if you heard him, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, so here's the backstory on that. And they're like, oh,
right.
And so
but then they'll say, but now he's come out and said he's telling the truth now.
Right. No, you can trust them now.
No, I just say no. Once a liar, always a liar.
Sorry,
that's the way I look at it. Once a liar, always a liar. But we've got so many things that we could. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, with the various people involved with that, like I know that Jacques Vallée has friends in the intelligence community, and others that have friends in the intelligence community, and I think that some people that they come out and they talk about things like how put off are others. I'm going to be more inclined to be listening to what they're not saying than directly what they're saying. And that these people are very poignant in how they talk. And so those are important to add to the cliff notes of the unknown, but you never take it as gospel. Like, always be doing our due diligence to research it. But anyway, we're going to keep rabbit trailing on this. But.
Well, yeah, I was just going to add, more rabbit trail, right? The hole is getting closer. The rabbit hole is just to say, anytime they say, I can't speak about that. Anytime they say, oh, we'll talk to you about that in the skiff. Anytime they say any of those things, just say it's just a yes. It's just a yes. It's like, were you this, that, or the other? I plan on. I need to take the fifth. That's a yes. Okay, that's a yes without saying a yes. Like, oh well, I'm because of my NDAH, I can't answer that. It's a yes.
Okay,
thank you. Mm-hmm. So it is sometimes what they don't say more than what they say. Mm-hmm. So anyway, look, I guess time will tell. 6/12/2026 is when we'll be able to see the movie and just come out with the, what this was all about. So maybe we can revisit this after then and see how many, do a little checklist, and maybe just having one part about what we got right, what we got wrong.
Yep.
Again, it's a phenomenon. What is right? What is wrong? But thank you so much, Daniel. It was a pleasure, as always, doing a video with you, being part of the Cosmic Convergence team. Again, congratulations on State Lead of Idaho for MUFON, Mutual UFO Network. And I wish you all the best in your endeavors on that. And it was just 2026 coming up. It's just going to be another year of disclosure.
All will to be disclosed.
All will be disclosed, right? Okay, yeah, we'll see about that. All right, well, thank you. Like, share, subscribe. You guys are awesome. Appreciate you all, and till next time.
Awesome. And if you guys like this video, or others like it with us reacting to media related about the topic, feel free to comment. Please let us know if you like it, and maybe we can do more. But yeah, thank you, everyone.
Bad monkey.